Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. Forget the silver squeeze. Yes, you heard that right. Let's explore. As most of you are aware, I believe in the silver squeeze, and I believe in what Wall Street silver is doing overall. I think that it does send quite a message to the powers that be, even though I disagree with many of the folks in that community and in this community about what I refer to as macro manipulation. You've heard me talk about that. I do believe in micro manipulation, where from within an organization, the price of silver can be moved and manipulated up and down in order to profit. Although I don't think there's necessarily an organized effort or a conspiracy to suppress the price of silver from in between organizations, mainly some of the big banks. Though I think one can make a cogent argument that the Federal Reserve and what they are doing, they are the everything manipulation bubble in what they do. Certainly they manipulate the dollar by design to decrease in value by at least 2% each year. But I digress. This video is based off of a post from Wall Street Silver Reddit forum that you've heard me talk about and applaud. I support what they're doing there. The organization has almost 40,000 silverbacks right now. And though I'm not a member, I certainly am seeing the post there and see what they're doing. And I think it's quite something for sure. But there's one particular post that really stood out, and it's a pretty popular post and has received quite a good percentage of upvotes there. And I want to read it to you because I think it really cuts to the chase and kind of what I have been talking about and cautioning about with regards to silver, for not just during this silver squeeze, but for most of my time here on the channel. And some have misinterpreted some of my postings in my videos and what I've talked about, think that I'm against this and I'm against silver and that I'm even paid by the big banks like Goldman Sachs, which is quite laughable, but I digress here. So this particular post is by a poster called Impressive Leader 4979, and I think it's brilliant in the due diligence section here. Now that I have your attention, I keep seeing some posts of people wondering if the squeeze is dead or why silver isn't at the moon, etc. Here it goes. Like 99.9% of investments, things take time. Time, not overnight time, like months or years time. And boy, isn't that the truth. That's something I've been talking about for quite some time, that we have to be patient with silver, especially considering how volatile it is. And we've seen it go up, we've seen it go down, we've seen it overperform and underperform compared to gold. The post continues, the squeeze isn't going to just pop and hit overnight. You're talking crazy amounts of ounces and dollars and heavy-hitting banks. This, like most other wars, being military, financial, etc., will be a long and drawn-out process with many bumps in the road. In fact, if you want to compare it to a war, think of it like guerrilla warfare. And it's quite apropos considering that the members of this community are referred to as apes. And so when you take into that account, you buy based off of guerrilla tactics, scheduled buys. In fact, some are doing what they refer to as silver raids. And even though I don't necessarily support that, because I think it puts undue pressure on folks to buy at a particular point in time, if they can't necessarily afford it or what have you, based off of peer pressure, I do believe in buying when you have the opportunity, for sure. But the post continues, with that being said, eventually silver will squeeze itself with or without our help due to simple supply and demand issues. Demand is huge and growing exponentially in today's world, and supply cannot keep up. You can only mine so much silver, and recycling it is too expensive to do at the per ounce return on today's prices. Very true, and this is unlike gold. So yes, the sky is a limit. It just may take longer than the week or month some of you were hoping for. It is a matter of patience, and that is what I've been cautioning about for quite some time. So I'm glad to see somebody posting about this on the Wall Street Silver Reddit community here as something that I've been warning about for quite some time, because that really is what it's about. It's about a sustained effort, sustained buying for quite an amount of time, and doing it not just to send the message about squeezing. But this is great news. The post wraps up. He says that this gives us more time to stack and to preserve our wealth. And that's the key. It's about wealth preservation. It's not about making money. It's about taking care of our family's financial future. Get out of debt, which is very important when currencies collapse, as debt is a way to control the people. And once again, stack even more to protect our wealth. See this time as a blessing to be able to buy silver and gold too. Thank you. This is where you got to. I think it's incumbent upon us to be diversified, and the focus being on silver, but also gold, and at the lowest prices we may ever see again in our lifetimes. And I think really that sums it up. We are going to see bumps in the road in terms of price movement up and down, especially in this day and age, but we are living in special times. And yes, when somebody says this time is different, you can't help but some of us to be a little bit jaded, because yeah, we've heard that before too. We've heard the saying, yeah, this time is different for can't tell you how long. But silver, it is an amazing metal for sure, and I believe that it sells itself when it's all said and done. And really, this post here, so written so well, I believe, that really sums it up. It is a wealth preservation device, and it does take time, and the market is much more complex than, say, shorting the GameStop or AMC or some of these other stocks, which have started to actually rebound before falling again. Silver will have its moves up and down and the like, but by and large, through the course of time, it's going to go up in price, therefore, and in turn, doing what it has done for millennia, preserve its wealth. In other words, as a hedge against an ever-inflating dollar. And that's what it's about, folks. And so when you take that into account, well, you know that you are part of the squeeze. And this great demand in silver right now, which, by the way, it has kind of shelved off a bit, and I think some people are discouraged, and I think this is why Impressive Leader 4979 made his post, because he saw that people were getting discouraged. But really, when you think about it, it's not just about squeezing anything, because you can squeeze the Charmin, which is toilet paper, which there was a big demand for at the beginning of this coronavirus. But you know what? They did end up making more toilet paper, and yes, we do need toilet paper. And in fact, many preppers will tell you it's probably good to have extra rolls of that on hand in times of a crisis. And such as the case it is with silver. Yes, I just compared silver to toilet paper, so sue me. But nonetheless, I believe it's incumbent upon us to be consistent and to do our own due diligence and our own research in terms of silver, and not just fly by the seat of our pants in terms of making purchases or raids. And again, no, I don't give any fault for people participating in those raids, but when you do it with a full and complete understanding of what you're involved with. In other words, if you make a raid for the Ides of March, which is what is coming up, I believe, on Junius Maltby's channel, which is getting a lot of attention, which I think is great, just understand that the next day or the next week, we could see prices fall, actually, believe it or not. Yes, that could actually happen. Don't be discouraged if that does occur and take place. In other words, don't buy it just because you think it's going to crash the COMEX. Likely that's not going to happen, no matter how many of us get involved, because there never really will be enough of us out there. We're still a very small community, even though it's exciting to see new folks come into buying silver. I applaud that. And again, I can't say how great this thing is with Wall Street Silver that has made its way out of the Wall Street Bets of Reddit's community to essentially because they were getting censored over there and they weren't behind them. But this is, I think, a much more important thing, not because of any squeeze, but because of what silver is in and of itself. And I think that this post on Wall Street Silver is one of the most important posts that people should read there. And it is quite something. I'm going to link it in the description of this video. I think it's that important. And I haven't really seen a lot of the comments there, but based off of the number of upvotes and the number of views on this thing, I think that it was a good message to be seen, and I thought I'd share it with the community here. So there you go. The squeeze is still on, and I do believe in the squeeze as it is occurring in the physical market, not in the paper market yet. But sooner or later, if enough of this happens, something will have to give over there. And so keep that in mind as well too. But let your motivation for buying silver transcend beyond the superficial, in this case, the silver squeeze. So I hope you found this video insightful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.